to blend the focus. Tadi lah kan, you want to share your knowledge, you want to share your skill, you want to share your wisdom. Spend most of your time writing effective article title. Spend most of your time writing an effective article title. Title ni pun satu hal lagi ni. Dia ada teknik tulis title. Saya personally, I like the verb title. Orang ada yang suka noun ya, ada yang suka noun. Dia ada yang buat noun, lepas tu dia buat the verb after the noun. I like the verb title. 10 teknik, 10 teknik to write books. So techniques to write, I think is verb. So I like to write my title in terms of so there is technique to write title. Catchy title. Write bullet points first if you want to do it. By all means, I've done that. Sometimes I do not use the bullet, sometimes I use the bullet. Do not use technical words, sarcasm or insinuations. So if you write a book, bukan textbook lah ya, textbook is a different genre. If you write books, try to explain it in a very simple language. Don't be sarcastic, don't be insinuation, because people need to get answer from you, not figure out what you're trying to say, or siapa lah yang dia tengah mengata. So don't do that lah. Because people, we write because we want to educate. We write because we want to share. We write because we care. Write as if you are talking to a friend and you want to help them. If you want to write to a professor, you just imagine that professor is in front of you. So masa dia tulis tu, dia dah aware dah apa, bayangkan apa yang dia nak tahu, bayangkan apa dia nak tanya soalan. You imagine what is the question, and imagine what kind of question he is going to ask. Readers tend to get bored easily. Exactly. So keep your paragraph short, simple, and curious. If I read something, read article, you only have 2 minutes to impress me. After 2 minutes, if I'm not impressed, I will move on to other article. Kalau dalam Facebook pun sama juga lah, banyak video, macam-macam video, real life right now. Then within the first 2 minutes, if you don't impress me, I move on. Okay. So you have to be able to capture during the first sentence too. It's already something that people want to say, oh, good word, processor, and fix the easy errors. Yes lah, error lah. Jaga, please jaga. Spelling, I'm a bit sensitive of spelling. I don't know what other people, when people do writing dekat dalam WhatsApp ni penuh dengan spelling mistake, that turn me off. Okay. I guess most academician is like that. All right. We are almost into the session 3, almost 11 o'clock. Any question? Dr. Fudain?
Yes, thank you, Dato', for sharing session 2. I think there's a lot of tips that we can learn from it. Okay, but I think whatever happens, we must start by today. Betul tak, Dato'?
Yeah.
So any question from the floor? So some of comments said, okay, I used to have a block. Now I have mental block. Okay, any question? You can ask through chatting room, or maybe you can ask by yourself. Unmute a speaker and you can ask. No shy. No apa? Kata malu-malu kucing.
Yeah. I will give you my strategy to manage my mental block.
Okay, we have question, I think.
Assalamualaikum,
Yeah.
Dato'.
Okay.
Waalaikumsalam.
My name is Hazarul. I'm not from the academia punya world.
Okay.
I'm from Nokia.
Okay. Welcome.
I got your webinar meeting invite from Prof. Nur Effendi Tamaldin.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
He was my schoolmate. So since I know that this session is more towards writing in an academia world to produce maybe journals, research paper. But I'm asking a question in general.
Okay.
I already posted my question, but it did not get picked up by the moderator.
Okay. Sorry, I also missed the chat. Yeah.
That's okay. So I'm just gonna ask you right now.
Okay. Okay.
I wrote in the chat space that people nowadays are reading and writing more than before.
Okay.
With the emergence of everything E, which means everything now is digitalized.
Okay.
So people have write a lot more. They might not write research paper or a book. They write short articles, short reviews, short how-tos on the internet. Even the Facebook replies considered writings. So in general, my opinion is that there are a lot more micro writings nowadays than 20 years ago. 20 years ago, when the internet was just beginning, we only have forum, bulletin boards. But nowadays we have social medias, we have WhatsApp, we have Telegrams. Just now when you are presenting, I got a message, short articles on WhatsApp. So that's just another micro writings.
Yeah.
So my question is, I'm throwing ideas here. Shouldn't there be a guide, or maybe the academia world should recognize that there's a lot more emergence of these micro writings and micro readings, and writing should not just be bound to writing books or writing articles or writing short articles. It should also be it should also address writing replies, all those short replies, the social media replies, the short articles, short technical how-tos on the internet. So my opinion is that maybe I'm just throwing idea here. I would like to get your opinion on this. I mean, is there a difference between writing in the academic world, writing books versus writing nowadays? So that's basically my query, my questions to you, Dato'. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Very good question. Very good question and very relevant in today's world. The question is whether micro writings in the digital world is relevant for the academia. So I will just explain in terms of responsibility. As an academician, basically there will be three. One is to teach. Number one is to teach, right? So teaching meaning here is the formal teaching, the formal teaching. You go to class, you teach the subject, and that's number one. And usually when we do the number one responsibility, the teaching part, you teach established knowledge. Established knowledge meaning knowledge that has been written in textbook, in established book, and that is been received or that has been accepted in the academia world. So number one. Number two, responsibility as an academician is to explore new knowledge. When we do exploration of new knowledge, we have to do a lot of research. we have to do a lot of deep thinking, very deep, high-level thinking lah. Activity and product of knowledge exploration is writings in the form of journal papers, writings in the form of conference papers, and maybe writing in the forms of books. So these writings are specialized writing for specialized audience. The audience are people expert in the area. Okay, this the second responsibility of an academician. And I'm coming to your question, and the third responsibility of an academician is to make them what they call it social responsibility lah. Make themselves relevant to the community. You know, people previously only have one medium, for example, one medium to touch the public, newspaper. So some academicians have their own columns to write in newspapers, weekly, whatnot, you know, popular names in the newspaper, and then we have their own columns. And I used to follow their column when I was student before, right? So, but today, the avenue is open. You can have your own Facebook. You can set up your own blog. You can you can educate people through WhatsApp group and whatnot. Then, yeah, I think this is where academician can make themselves relevant to the community by sharing their knowledge in these micro writings, especially in the digital form. We need to fulfill all the three domains. We need to fulfill the teaching of established knowledge. We need to fulfill exploration of new knowledge, and we need to fulfill our social responsibility. So I guess this is where we need to balance our activity as an academician. And I guess to the academicians, this is the challenge now, to train ourselves, to learn new skills, to be involved in the new era, in the new domain, new platform. Until and unless we are willing to share, until and unless we are willing to experience, until and unless we are willing to experiment all this, you get left behind. This is why I'm doing this right now. I'm learning all the Zooming, WebEx, the FB Live, writings, and so on. So you not only write about your area, you also write things that can touch. I wrote this thing long time ago. Boleh nampak bina diri 55 petua untuk kecemerlangan diri dan kerjaya. I wrote this 2011, dia punya publishing date. But I wrote the manuscript in 2010. Ini yang buku saya kata saya buat seorang-seorang. This is Lone Ranger. Only one name. Dia nampak nama ke? Tak bawah, tak nampak ke? Can see the name there? Lone Ranger. 2 years. And this is not for macam apa ni, nah, this is for general knowledge lah. This is for motivation for semua orang. Semua orang. Untuk kerjaya dan diri. And to learn the trade at that time, I learned. I got the ISBN number from Perpustakaan Negara for my personal ISBN number. I publish this, cetak sendiri, and hard copy ada 1,000 yang saya print, jual sendiri, pergi kedai buku. I went to the bookstore and offer for them to place my book there. I know the pain. I just want to experience. I just want to experience the thing. Now that book is no more. The hard copy is no more available. Maybe the soft copy ebook is available. So if you are interested, PM tepi lah. Okay. And yeah, there's another book. Mana lagi? This book is NLP. This is an NLP. This is NLP. Ini buku baru keluar. Ini buku baru keluar. 1 month before Ramadan. Himpunan pengalaman pengamal NLP tulis yang mengamalkan NLP solve orang lain punya problem dalam bahasa Melayu, in Malay language and in very simple language. Now sekali dengan promo lah. So now every writers, they have 29 writers here in this book. So you have 30 chapters. So every writers is busy selling this book online dalam his book masing-masing. Saya pun ada, right? Sekarang ni ada 20% discount. I have some stock in mind. Kalau minat, PM tepi lah. Promo sikit lah. So this is nothing to do with high level engineering knowledge. This is my passion. I love to help people. Previously I do motivation, now I do coaching, I do NLP coaching and whatnot. So this is my chapter, is my writing is in chapter 27 here. Okay, good number, 27. I guess that answers your question. I hope so. Anyway.
Okay, Dato', I think there are questions from participants also. Maybe we can share here. I think this one from the Dean of IPTT. Okay, any way to motivate academics to write books of their personal interest? Maybe, and then the second question from the Dean of FKE. Idea banyak, nak transfer ke Word tu lambat. Ada cara ke, Dato'? And also this comments, I think suggestion from PM Jariah, to teach existing knowledge, exploration of the knowledge, followed by writing a form of academic article journals. Okay, this is comments, and also from Baiduri, writing short posting on social digital media is indeed captured in CEFR. Okay, maybe that question we can address the first two questions. Macam mana nak cepatkan transfer daripada idea tu dalam kepala kita kepada ke dalam Word, Microsoft Word lah. And then anyway, untuk to motivate academics to write books of their personal interest. Please, Dato'.
Okay. Kita entertain dua soalan ini. Pertamanya, macam mana nak motivate orang menulis? Yang pertama, bagi saya, kena banyak jalan lah. Motivation ni kena berlaku dalam banyak jalan. The first thing is to bagi kesedaran ya. Until and unless you discover the big why, you must answer the big why for yourself. Then only the motivation will come in. Why do you have to write? So each an individual person, us, especially academician, they must answer to themselves, why do they have to write? Until and unless they know why, then the motivation comes. So one of the activity, awareness, nak bagi information, nak bagi motivation for our academician to write lah. Even also for the non-academician. Dengan style presentation yang saya buat hari ini, saya punya tagline very simple, now everybody can write. Dulu everybody can fly. Now not everybody can fly because of the lockdown. But now everybody can write. So different fasa ada different opportunity. This is the opportunity to write. So you might as well take the opportunity and motivate yourself. Find the big why. Find the purpose of writing. If you know the purpose, the rest is easier to push. But until and unless you know the purpose, it's very difficult. That's why setiap orang tadi, kalau sebagai dean, dulu saya sebagai TNCPI, saya selalu dalam interview, I will challenge interview naik pangkat ke apa ke with the question based on logical level tadi. But actually, my question is to push you higher up the logical level. Bila jawapan tu, kenapa tulis buku? Oh, ni semua sebab ketua jabatan suruh tulis, dekan suruh tulis. Dia masih lagi level paling rendah sekali. Level persekitaran, level environment, the lowest level. I will push. You know, what are you good at? You have the knowledge to share. What is your purpose as a lecturer? You know what is the purpose of the lecturer. So trying to push with the question, how do you feel if as a lecturer, but you don't write, how do you feel? Those are values, feelings, and all that. So soalan-soalan saya dalam interview, my question during interview usually is question that challenge the logical level. Why? For them to discover themselves the big why, the big purpose. Once they discover that, then they know what to do. The rest, technical problem is not a problem. But here and here in the heart is the problem. Like what Muhammad Ali and I can achieve. So now is to convince their mind, to make their heart believe. The rest they can achieve on their own. So as a leader, as a dean, as the head department, is always to provoke the mind and to provoke the heart, the feeling, the values, the purpose. So I guess that's my answer. Whether I don't know whether that's relevant to your question or not. I hope it is somewhat relevant. The second question is you have too many things to write, but how to transfer that on paper? Right? You have mental block. Biasanya idea banyak. Ni macam Jalil lah, betul. Ni macam traffic jam lah. This is like traffic jam. There's so many traffic to go out of KL for Hari Raya. And suddenly everybody wants to go out of KL. What happened? Juga kalau semua idea nak keluar dalam satu masa, then you have mental block, traffic jam or idea jam. So untangle one by one, relax, and have your library. Library dulu. Ada idea, keluar idea, dapat idea, terus masuk dalam library, masuk dalam bank of ideas. Jangan simpan dalam kepala, dapat idea, besok dah tulis. Bila besok tulis, sementara sekarang sampai besok ada 5 idea, tiba-tiba 5 jam tak boleh keluar. Right? So the minute the idea comes in, jot it down, no matter how simple, keep it in the library. Because when you want to write seriously, you want to recall, you recall the library, oh ini idea apa dulu, tarik. Then that's one of the technique. That's why you need to have your personal digital library. I hope that's what.
Thank you, Dato'. I think can we answer one more question lah? Yeah, give chance to this UMP. I think from UMP, academics from UMP, Dr. Muhammad Hasnun Arif. Salam Dato'. Terjemahan buku kejuruteraan dikira penulisan buku juga ke? Okay. Atau mungkin sebab dia kata sebab buku kejuruteraan dalam Inggeris dah banyak. So what's your comment? I think maybe your answer.
Soalannya apa? Terjemahan dalam buku kejuruteraan.
Maksudnya from English to Malay dikira sebagai buku penulisan tak? Maksudnya penulisan buku dikonsider.
Oh, sih.
Sebab dah buku dalam Inggeris dah banyak, jadi mungkin dia nak terjemahkan lah.
Biasanya dikira sebagai buku terjemahan lah dalam dunia akademik. Kan kita ada terjemahan buku kan, dia ada kategori buku terjemahan. Dia masih lagi buku tapi mungkin baik. Kalau bagi orang luar di luar akademik, dia dianggap buku lah. Sebab saya pun ada buku terjemahan. Saya buku yang tadi itu, yang kuning tadi, saya terjemahkan jadi Transformational Journey. Ini dikira satu buku kalau untuk audiens biasa. Tapi kalau untuk naik pangkat, sebab dalam dunia akademik ni dia lebih halus lapisannya, kita mungkin ada kategori buku terjemahan. Kita terjemah buku. So, depends who's your audience lah. Ada buku kita tulis bukan untuk naik pangkat. Ada buku kita tulis untuk CSR. Ada buku kita tulis untuk naik pangkat. So, kita kena balance, kita kena tahulah this time. Itu yang jadi apa? Jadi jam, jadi rigid. So, pelbagai kan aktiviti, kerana kita ada pelbagai responsibility. We have different responsibility, so we do things that can fulfill all the domains. The basic domain is 3 lah. Tapi kalau naik pangkat biasanya kita ada, we have 5 domains, sometimes 7 domains, right? In our career. But in general, it's like this. I usually when I write, there's a purpose. Some writings is for my academic career. Some writings is for my community CSR purpose. So define your purpose lah. Okay? Boleh kita move on?
Okay, Datuk. Terima kasih. Okay, maybe we can move on to
Alright.
session.
So this is writing inspiration. Tulis je tajuk, nak tulis buku ni semua jadi tension, jadi stress, jadi serius. Relax, relax. And try enjoy your life. Enjoy life. You can enjoy by writing, why not? You don't have to be stressful in writing. You can enjoy your writing, you can laugh. Okay? Feel the pain deeply. Whose pain? Your audience punya pain. What are their pain? If you address their pain, then they are willing to read your book, and they might be willing to be part with their money to buy your book because you address their pain. Yang masalah kita ni, kita tulis apa yang kita nak tulis. Kita tulis apa yang kita seronok nak tulis. Tapi kita tak identify apa yang orang perlu. That's why you always know who is your audience. If you write, imagine your audience is in front of you, what will be their pain point? Then only you address, build the bridge to fill the gap between what you know or what you want to share with what are their needs. Okay. Best use metaphors, make better use of movie time, whatever. Listen to inspiring music, ini untuk orang auditory. Take time to focus on sensory detail. Yes, use sensory details. Kalau tak faham nanti balik, lepas ni baca. What is sensory language? What is sensory language? Use sensory language. Right? Read writing craft books. Right? Read books outside your comfort zone. Yes, do read something else beyond your comfort zone. Make real connection. Yes. Any interaction is a learning opportunity. History, biography. Read. Never fail to ask what if. Okay, this is our tips. Saya share tip lagi. Dia punya tips. Saya share nanti last kali. Change your environment. Yes. Do something new. Yes. Visualize. Yes. Be kind to yourself. Yes. Be aware of the cues, sensation of your body. Yeah. You must see the signal. Your body is trying to tell you something. They send signal. So be sensitive to the signal that your body is trying to say. Kalau you too tired, take a break. Okay. Harness the power of relaxation. Ya, tapi jangan lama sangat. Relaxation dengan lama-lama 2 jam relaxation. Itu bukan relaxation tu. Okay. Positive affirmation, yes, yes, yes. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. So, ni pun banyak kaedah. Kadang-kadang saya ajar juga lah. Ni apa? Pasak minda, perkasa jiwa. Ya, mantra minda, bla bla bla. Banyak kaedah yang boleh digunakan. Anyway, proofreader marks, ini kena belajar sikit lah. Set of when you proofread or somebody proofread your book, kalau dia professional, dia akan gunakan all this, then but you need to understand lah. Bila dia cakap-cakap ayam tu, maknanya apa benda lah. Manusia pun tak tahu. Kena belajar. But ada 2, 3 atau 4, 5 yang selalu keluar, yang tu kena faham. Right? Let's see lagi. 3 types of writing. This is important. Ada yang informative writing. We write because you want to tell something. You have knowledge, you want information. The topic, sentence, dan bla bla. Ada narrative writings. This is you tell a story. It can be real, it can be engineering, has a character, has a setting. Ini ada teknik of writing a story, writing a good story. Dia ada teknik. Mula cerita pasal the environment, kemudian cerita tentang the character, kemudian cerita tentang dia punya action, kemudian cerita dengan dia cerita tentang emosi, kemudian cerita tentang kesudahannya, siapa yang menang, siapa yang kalah. So dia ada cara nak tulis naratif, right? Storytelling, story acting, dan lain-lain. Then the opinion writing. You want to tell others on your opinion, how strong can you put in on your opinion dan sebagainya. Put example, put a paragraph, put your argument. How to put your argument nicely. People read your argument, they get the point, tapi dia tak marah. Macam mana nak buat? So, biasanya kalau kita ada opinion, especially engineering lah, kita belasah macam sama je. Saya macam tu kan. Yang penting kau faham lah. But it's much difficult to be kind than to be clever. Better you are clever and you are kind. That's maximum impact. Right? Remember, clever and kind. You insist only to be clever and you don't want to be kind. So be clever and be kind. That's the best. Alright. So in writing, kalau you write a book, if you can blend, this is my style. I will blend all the three. Kalau you baca buku ini yang saya dok promo tadi, siapa yang minat boleh PM tepi lah. Dalam buku ni saya punya chapter 27 tajuknya Detox Minda. Kalau you baca that topic Detox Minda, I have all the three. Dia ada information, dia ada story, dia ada opinion, and you blend it nicely. You can do that in one package. Done. That's the best lah. That's my style. Right? Ada orang dia berat pada naratif. So nak cerita. Isi dah lupa pasal isi pula lah. Tapi saya orang akademik, saya kena ada isi. Bila nak ada isi, and what have you learned before, and you boleh blend in dengan your point of view pula. And people see you as some kind of authority pula. So this to me is a very good combination, and I use this in my writing. Okay. For good reason to write. Yang tadi tu, yang tanya tu, the big why, this is one example lah. Boleh nampak You have accumulated knowledge that merits sharing. Ada knowledge. You want to further an idea that benefit mankind. Letak idea dan mungkin orang lain boleh prolong. Ini oleh Guy Kawasaki ya. You want to entertain, you want to amuse, you want to inspire people. Cerita. Entertain. You want to conquer the intellectual challenging of writing a book. Ya saja nak challenge yourself, nak tulis buku ni cuma susah sangat by Guy Kawasaki. How many are confused? Many new artists give up. Give up. Aku tak larat. Confused about certain part. Writing process or publishing process, they quit. Tengah-tengah jalan quit. Saya pun dulu macam tu juga. Mula-mula semangat. Lepas 6 bulan, tak larat. Lepas tu, lepas 3 bulan, kutip balik. Itu 2 tahun bersiang. Today, I will share with you. I will share with you. Nanti dah kat ujung. Macam mana nak blend semua. No, tak adalah stress kan. Minimal stress lah. Kalau tak ada stress kan. Tapi minimal lah. The lowest stress in writing work. I will share with you. Tunggu ujung-ujung. And their book never get published. Yeah. What if writing could become as natural as exhaling? Yeah, I want to make writing natural. How to do it? Yeah. Writing a book takes a ton of work, obviously. This is not easy, no? Writing a book is you have to manage your emotion. There are times that you're really down. There are times you're really up. You don't want to stop writing. Those will come, right? But in one sentence, writing a book is like running a marathon. It's not 100-meter dash. Bear in mind. It is not a 100-meter dash. It is a 10-kilometer marathon. Be ready. How do I get manuscript from my heart to my paper? Tadi soalan tu dah ada. How do I write a bestseller that people will want to buy? I can tell you how to write that people will want to buy. But I don't know about the bestseller, right? Bestseller ni also how to write a book that will win certain prize or whatever, right? To me, in my case, you just write. If the incentive will have to come, they will come. Okay, sometimes you win. Anugerah buku negara. Okay, but that's not the main purpose. The main purpose is sharing is caring. The rest, you will learn along the way. You get better. You keep on writing until you establish yourself as a writer, and people start to recognize that. For entrepreneurs, why do you write a book? Because a published book is an excellent marketing, branding, lead generating, and credibility building tool. You want to show your credibility as a lecturer, as a motivator, as a coach, as a one of the best way is having your own book. If you talk about, let's say, you talk about motivation, and while talking, you show people you have written a book about motivation, that shows you have authority in the field. You've talked about commercialization, and you have wrote a book about commercialization, that shows to people that you have some authority in the field. So if you want to show people you have some kind of credibility in whatever field, writing a book and having a book is one of the best way to tell people, yeah, you have authority in the field, right? Question here, does engineering books belong to informative writing? It depends on how you write it. If you write your engineering book the way you write is a brief history of time, then it is informative writing. But if you write your engineering book like you write your textbook, it's not an informative writing, it's a textbook. So how you present the material, how you have the raw ingredients, but do you have the right recipe to cook so that people can enjoy the food. So the secret is in the recipe. Okay, everybody has the raw material. Semua orang ada bahan mentah dekat dapur. Tapi what people can eat will depend on the recipe that you use to cook your raw material. Okay, so it can be informative writing, but it can also be just a textbook. Okay, so and then in addition, a book introduce you your product. Of course, that gives the audience a deeper understanding of what you do, how you do it, and why you do it. Of course, but one thing I have to share with you: the real knowledge is with you. The real knowledge is with you, is in your head, is in your heart. The book that you write, in terms of words, recorded on paper, probably represents only 10% of the real knowledge. The book is only a representation of the knowledge. So when we write the book, the one that got translated into words and recorded on paper is only the tips of the iceberg. The knowledge is the book is only a representation of your knowledge. Some people will read your book and they will understand it differently. So the arts of writing precisely what you want to say is the arts that you need to conquer. Because sometimes our writing is misleading. You want to say something, you want to present something, but you say something else. And when people read, they understand differently. Right? That's why we need to understand the technicality of writing a book. Because the book that you put in is, the writing that you put in is only a representation of the knowledge that you have. And that's why you need to read a lot. You read, and you read. Also beyond your subject matters. Okay, so keep on reading. Okay, what's next? This is profile. You write a book about biography. So go and find somebody that you respect. Go and tell them you like, you admire, whatever lah you nak letak, right? And seek permission to write a book about that person. Most likely they will agree to it lah, most likely. Okay, then you go interview, you go and sign the sketch and tell the life story of that person daripada lahir sampailah sekarang, and then you get one book. Get the subject matter of your book as a profile of a place, event, or person. It's not only a person, but you can go to a place, the history of the place. Contohnya kampung saya. Apa asal usul nama kampung, siapa yang dulu dalam tu, that you have to dig lah, to tanya orang lama dulu kalau ada lagi. This kind of thing. Or so ask different people about the profile of this PKPB and all that, lockdown. So preferably the subject matter should has a touch of quality or well known to the audience, obviously. So cari somebody that everybody knows, or some event that everybody knows, or a place that everybody knows, and goes write something about it. So people want to know, oh okay, katalah sejarah apa? Sejarah Dataran Merdeka. People want to know, okay. Kalau belum ada, boleh buku, right? Look at the subject from different angles, different perspective. Give you example. This is a profile of my ex-boss. May his soul rest in peace. And coincidentally, my name was mentioned somewhere on page 229. My name was mentioned somewhere by my ex-boss in his memoir. So I do appreciate this very much. This is one of the boss that I admire. In his soul rest in peace, inshallah. So you can write books, profile. Carilah siapa-siapa yang you think boleh jadi bahan bestseller. Okay, atau contribute to dia punya something yang people can benefit. Kalau tak bukan bestseller pun, people can benefit from. Okay. Moral of story, satu lagi teknik. Compile short stories that have the moral values or lesson learned in it. Chicken Soup for the Soul by Jack Canfield. Right. And the Chicken Soup for the Soul. So ini buku Chicken Soup for the Soul yang sudah, this is Chicken Soup for the Soul, but focus on song. Even that is already very thick, right? So you can compile moral of the story or story that have moral values. Compile, becomes a book. So, and this bestseller, Jack Canfield, he can write Chicken Soup for the Soul for many sub-film. Here is about the song, story behind the song. So what you put in the story about your family, story about whatever. Why not write a story about durian? Mana datang Musang King? Asal dulu tak ada durian Musang King. Contohlah, satu dunia kenal Musang King sekarang ni. So you just tell, dulu durian apa ada, akhirnya jadi durian apa, how it evolved, right? Those are the kind of thing that we can do. Travelogue, unfortunately, I don't have a copy of one of popular writers in Malaysia. Dia buat travelogue haji dan travelogue macam-macam lah. You go travel and you write something about that journey. This also can become a book. Bagi example je lah, if you decide to walk from that experience of walking from Johor to KL, you can write a book. Who do you meet? What kind of view did you see? How do you feel? All those things, where do you sleep when you walk from Johor to KL, for example, then all those experience can become a travelogue, a book, and people might benefit from that. Easy, right? Everybody can write. People, scenario, historical, budget, food, event, drama, whatever. And that's the next technique here, sketch and issues. This technique is suitable for a person who is good at sketching and drawing. I have a friend, very good in sketching. And when he sketch something, sometimes I will ask from him and I will take it. Very nice sketch. So you can sketch something and write something. So example of that, buku budak kampung, for example. Sketch, and you can write a book from your sketches. It can be about a cartoon, can be about flowers, can be about clothing, can be about scenery, can be about event, so many so many things that you can write about.